Week 1 Fantasy Football Streams. Baker Mayfield faces the Commanders, who allowed the most passing yards and the second most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks last season. Baker was a top 12 fantasy quarterback 8 times last season. Gardner Minshew opens up against the Chargers, who allowed the fourth most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks and the third most passing yards last season. Minshew finished 3 weeks as a top 12 fantasy quarterback last season, and I think he has more weapons with the Raiders than he did last year with the Colts. For the tight end position, Taysom Hill faces the Carolina Panthers, and we know the Saints love this guy and use him creatively, and everything in the offseason says that they will continue to do this. Hill finishes a top 10 fantasy tight end 7 times last season, and in 2 of those weeks, he had over 20 fantasy points. Jonnu Smith is now a Dolphin, and he opens up the season against Jacksonville. Last year in Atlanta, he dealt with a low passing volume offense and Kyle Pitts as the starter, but he still had a career year. Both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle should be good to go, but they've been dealing with some minor nagging injuries. Does Miami get Jonnu Smith involved as the third target right away in week 1 in what should be a good matchup against the Jaguars? Then finally, go check and see if the Seattle defense and special teams is available, who faces the Broncos led by a rookie quarterback and a weaker offense.